On the morning of August 4, 1892, an unspeakable horror shattered the calm streets of Fall River. Abby and Andrew Borden lay dead, their bodies brutally axed in their own home. A daughter once devoted to charity now stood at the center of a national sensation, forever ensnared between truth and legend. Background: Lizzie Andrew Borden was born on July 19, 1860, into a prosperous Fall River family, headed by textile magnate Andrew Jackson Borden and his second wife, Abby Gray Folger Borden. Despite her charitable work, teaching Sunday school and volunteering at local charities, Lizzie's relationship with her stern, frugal father and tense stepmother was often strained over money and household affairs. Fall River in the late 19th century was a booming mill town, its brick factories lining the Taunton River and fueling both wealth and class divides in the community. Neighbors recalled the Bordens as reclusive but respectable, their Second Street home a symbol of mid-century prosperity that had grown eerily quiet by 1892. Rumors swirled of Lizzie's frustrated ambitions. She studied French and law, yet remained confined by rigid Victorian expectations of women. The tension culminated in whispered arguments over household expenses, prussic acid attempts, and a mysterious dress burned at the stove just days before the killings. The morning of August 4, 1892, at around 10:30 a.m., 19-year-old maid Bridget Sullivan carried a pitcher of water from the Borden family's backyard well, unsuspecting of the carnage awaiting her. She later testified she saw Lizzie briefly emerge from the upstairs hallway, her appearance neat and composed, before retreating inside. Moments later, Sullivan returned to find Andrew Borden sprawled on the living room sofa, his skull cleaved by what would be identified as a heavy hatchet. Sullivan described a pool of blood beneath him and a silence so absolute the ticking parlor clock sounded like thunder. She rushed upstairs, discovering Abby Borden in the guest chamber, her nightdress stained crimson and her body bearing 19 vicious blows. Footprints were disturbingly absent in the dew-damp grass outside, and the door remained locked from within, suggesting the killer moved with terrifying familiarity. Whispers spread through Fall River that someone they all knew had weaponized domestic trust and turned the Borden sanctuary into a slaughterhouse. The grisly discovery. Neighbors along 2nd Street reported chilling stillness. No screams pierced the morning air, and the clatter of machinery in the mills seemed distant. Police found the murder weapon, a blood-spattered hatchet, hidden in the cellar among shovels and coal scuttles, its blade encrusted with flesh. Coroner Dr. Frank H. Bowen noted the ferocity. The blows were delivered with such force that the victims' skulls were virtually shattered beyond recognition. Yet, inexplicably, there was no blood trail leading from the scene, no evidence of cleanup or escape route, as if the killer vanished into thin air. Fall River's doctors and detectives convened, stunned that such brutality could occur behind locked doors in broad daylight. Speculation ran rampant. A jilted lover, a hired assassin for insurance money, or perhaps a deranged stranger slipping unnoticed through back alleys. And at the center stood Lizzie Borden, her cool demeanor both chilling and inexplicable to those searching for answers. Arrest and inquest. On August 9, a coroner's inquest convened under Magistrate Josiah Blaisdell and Dia Hosea Knowlton. Reporters packed the ornate courtroom, pens poised for every word. Lizzie endured 4 hours of relentless questioning, her composure unbroken even as detectives pressed her on odd behaviors, burning dresses, prussic acid inquiries, stolen pigeon feathers. Her defiant statement echoed, "I am absolutely innocent of this horrid crime, and I leave it to my counsel to clear my name." Petty details became damning lore. A neighbor claimed Lizzie purchased halfpence the day prior, apparently for a one-way cab ride to Providence. Yet other testimony undercut this. Bridget Sullivan insisted she saw no carriage depart, and the town cabman denied any such fare that morning. On August 11, Magistrate Blaisdell deemed her testimony involuntary and amid gasps from the gallery authorized Lizzie's formal arrest. As she was led away, onlookers marveled at her serene face. Some whispered prayers, others cursed the fragile justice of Fall River courts. The trial of 1893. The trial opened on June 5, 1893, before 3 judges and a jury of 12 local men in New Bedford's imposing courthouse. Prosecutor Thomas Moody unleashed a dramatic tableau, placing Lizzie's blood-soaked dress beside her parents' shattered skulls for all to see. Maid Bridget Sullivan's testimony waspish and precise. She saw Lizzie tenderly brush Abby's hair at breakfast and heard no cry for help until after the murders. Defense attorney Andrew Jennings countered with a cascade of remarks. No direct witness, no murder weapon, no motive clear, and no trail of blood. They highlighted Lizzie's spotless reputation, her lifelong record of charity, and her utter lack of physical evidence tying her to the hatchet. The press dubbed it the crime of the century, newspapers descending on New Bedford to print lurid detail and every juror's lunch orders. After 2 days of fraught testimony and legal sparring, the presiding judge instructed the jury, acquit where doubt remains, for innocence is presumed. 90 tense minutes later, the foreman rose. We find the defendant not guilty. An exhalation rippled through the courtroom as Lizzie's composed lips quivered. Aftermath and legacy. Acquitted yet ostracized, Lizzie inherited her father's estate and withdrew into Maplecroft, a Gothic-styled mansion far from 2nd Street's prying eyes. She entertained modestly, reading by lamplight and strolling mist-clad gardens, but never spoke publicly of that August morning. Tourists later flocked to her childhood home, now a bed and breakfast, its creaking floors and locked doors echoing unanswered questions. Fall River's local lore transformed Lizzie into ghostly legend. Some swear they hear whispered words in the guest room at 232nd Street. When she died of pneumonia on June 1, 1927, at age 66, she left behind no confession, only a dusty ledger of household accounts and unanswered rumors. Her sister Emma closed Maplecroft and refused interviews, ensuring the Borden's final chapter remained as silent as the crime itself. Did Lizzie Borden truly wield the axe, or did the real killer vanish into the shadows of 2nd Street? This question, more than a century old, invites each viewer to confront the enduring enigma at the heart of this haunting American mystery. Historians still pore over trial transcripts, unearthing fresh theories in the unanswered gaps of that calm August morning. The creaking floors of 232nd Street echo with speculation as curious travelers tread the very boards that once bore silent witness to unspeakable violence. New podcasts, docusseries, and true crime aficionados annually revive the case, reminding us that the blades of rumor can prove sharper than any bloody hatchet. And in the hush between footsteps on those age-worn stairs, we hear the silent witness of history and feel compelled to ask once more, who really wielded the axe?